coverage was something I really appreciated, and I've sort of mentioned this over and over again on this podcast to different people I've spoken to, is that nowadays tighter shots, because they hide certain things, and cutting back and forth really is a very common thing, and I didn't find that in this film. Was that something that you guys worked with Steven, the director, on, or was it more like both of you together? What was that process like? Was it a lot of coverage on the other, like, tighter shots as well, or was that what you got?
Do you want to go, Billy?
No, you go, sir.
Well, I would say coverage for most of the work that I did on Rise of the Beast, because I came in, Billy started it and I came in and finished it, and it was done with the visual effects and the animation, you know. So what we did is we saw what we had, and then if we needed additional shots, or we needed a wider shot, or we needed to tell the story with a slightly different angle, we would get a previs artist to design the shot for us, and then we would cut that in. Steven, the director, has a pretty good eye, and he had a pretty good sense of what angle we needed to get to tell the story. But a lot of it was told, later on in animation. A lot of the pieces were put together later on. Like the entire third act was all done
Mm.
post the principal photography. So it we ended up trying a lot of things, doing a lot of experimenting with storyboard artists and with previs artists, and then that's how we came up with the patterns that we used to cut at least the final battle.
I mean, Matsu Picchu, he was very, obviously, first of all, the robots are huge, and Matsu Picchu is such a, cinematic place that he did get a lot of coverage there, especially, to, set the place and the environment, and, get a vibe for where they were, and Michael Bay as well, you get. I don't think anybody shoots more coverage than Michael.
That's true.
It's shocking how much for coverage you can get. But they both directors really pay a lot of attention to the environment, because they're shooting in both those movies, or all those movies. I mean, they shoot all over the world in these incredible places. So they're they're both directors very cognizant of getting big wide shots to let the audience enjoy the place as well as the story.
Right. Okay. And both of you guys never worked simultaneously, right? It was more like one came in and then the other.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
Yeah. Like
And
right. Yeah.
Like weeks, maybe 2 weeks after he left, I
Yeah.
came.
I
and that, sorry, go on.
I had a obligation on another movie, and
Yep.
originally the film was going to come out. The Transformers was going to come out June of 22, right? It came out June
Mm-hmm.
23.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. Yep.
and yeah, so I was on to then, and then it was an unmakeable schedule, based on getting the story right, getting the visual effects done. So they pushed it a year, because those movies always come out basically the same time, same part of the time of the year. So they pushed a year, so I was obligated to do another film, so I had to leave, and that's when Joel came on.
But
Was
you
it?
said that we never worked together, but we kind of did, because after I came on, I was in constant contact with Billy, and I would, he knew the history of everything, and he knew, he had done the first cut. So then I would ask him, about other cuts that he did, and I'd ask him about what the director thought of certain things. So we were not physically sitting in the same room editing together, but we were collaborating even after he was off the movie.
When you say collaborating, it wasn't like he had Avid on his system and you did, and you were collaborating over that, or was it just more like from a story standpoint?
Or like a form of, I would call him and he knew the scenes,
Mm.
and I would say, I would ask him things like, you know, for example, let me think of one. The scene when Mirage is in the warehouse, and he's talking to
Right.
to Noah for the first time. I would just say, what's the history of this? I mean, this is how you've left it. Is there a reason why, Optimus comes in at this time, or is there a reason why, you know, things happen in a certain way? And he knew it because he had been working with it, and he cut it, and I just came on. So that type of thing. And then we would talk about the story. And then I think you saw a couple cuts too, Billy, while we were, afterwards. And
Along
I
the
mean,
way, yeah. I mean,
it wasn't a
Joel and
lot.
I have worked together on what, how many, two or three of the Transport other ones?
Uh, no,
Three,
just Transformers 3. That's the only
just
other
three?
one. No, yeah.
Oh, wow. And, so we've been friends since then. And so it was very comfortable, and like the car, like Noah chasing around in the port in Mirage when he first meets Mirage, Joel would call, why was this taken out? Why was this, why is it this way? Why was it so it was able to sort of, it gave him, a lot of backstory. So he knew why things were the way they were. And then at the same time, he was able to have a fresh point of view on the film. So to the film's credit, he was able to there were some jokes and things and funny moments that for some reason Steven was shying away from, but then went back in the film because Joel had a fresh look at it and, was able to restore some of that comedy that, because you sort of get, when you're doing it and sit in front of the ads, sometimes you get tunnel vision and you sort of go with the flow. And then Joel was able to come in and have a totally fresh point of view. And I think it really made the film way better than it would have been.